Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator, and I'm pleased to show you how to make this card. And this is just kind of a fun hunter's card, I guess, or whatever you want it to be. And the technique today is called Camouflage, and that is this whole background here. And here is our sample sheet, and that's what it looks like. And it actually has some kind of a texture, and you'll see why in a minute. The stamp set that I'm using, it's actually a bundle. It's called Reindeer Fun, and it has all of these dies as well as these. And my little deer it takes 3 pieces to make the deer, and then it has the background. These got kind of muffled up. And then the stamp set, I did not use it for this particular card, but it does come as a bundle. Alright, here are a couple other just little fun cards that I made using that same deer. These letters are retired, but you could use any, and it just says joy. And then this one it's actually a case from someone, but it just has the Merry Christmas, and everything on this card is from that bundle. Alright, now we can get started. So, to do the technique, getting a lot of pieces here. Okay. So for the technique, we're using crumb cake, and we are using a bunch of different colors. We are using mossy meadow, crumb cake, pecan pie, Cajun craze, and early espresso. So I will just take, it doesn't matter what order you do these in. I just have some daubers here, and I mark my daubers so that I don't get them contaminated with each color. So it's just one of those little machine things. I don't know if it's a machine, but it's just a little thing. Alright, I'm going to start with mossy meadow. And I'm just putting some random circles, kind of giving it a little rub, not just, you want it to kind of smear out a little bit. Again, it's all random. Okay, that's enough for mossy meadow. Next color, I will use crumb cake. Again, no specific order. You don't have to do light to dark or anything. It doesn't matter on this one. And same thing. Just kind of smear them on there. There we go. Next one will be Cajun craze. Again, I'm just taking them in the order I set them down. Cajun craze gives it a little bit of rust color. You don't need quite as many, because more of the camouflage doesn't have a lot of rust in it. The true camouflage, I guess. Pecan pie. And again, when you look at this, it's like, oh boy, that's kind of a mess. But that's good. We like messes. And then see what beauty comes from them. How's that one? Alright, early espresso, just a couple. It's not quite as neat. Make sure your pads are inked up when you do this. There we go. Okay, that's it for daubing. And I'm leaving the espresso out, that's why I did it last. Now we're going to take our water spritzer and spritz this pretty well. So you kind of want to saturate it a little bit. So I'm going to, I guess I can do it here. Let's do it on one of these. Then if it gets wet, no big deal. Okay, so I'm just going to spritz it. This is just water. And you can see how the colors are kind of bleeding together. And that's what you want. See, it's pretty wet. Just going to smear it around. And this part killed some people because we're going to crunch it up. So we're going to crunch it into itself like that and just crunch it up. One lady was so funny, she just kind of cringed her eyes as she was doing this. So you crunch it up, you have a nice little ball, you might get some ink on you. That's what soap and water's for. Open it up, and then you get that look. And it on camera it's looking more spotty, but when you look at it, it's really not. Then we're going to take our early espresso, and because it's got the creases, you will just lightly put this on it, and you can see how it kind of picks up the creases, and that's it. And that's it for basically the technique. So I'm going to dry this off with my heat tool, but you don't need to watch that. I'll be right back. Okay, now this is nice and dry, and it's actually real stiff now. It actually feels a smidge damp, but it's okay. At least it's nice and you don't feel as wet as it was before. It was real limp. Now we will take our card base and layer. This is beige, basic beige, and we are going to glue this onto our early espresso. And I can just use regular tape runner for this. However, when we go to the next layer, because it's all bumpy and it's gotten really thick, we will have to glue that on for best adhering. And you just want to glue it up. And that should do it. And hold it on there for a moment. And you want to flatten it out as much as you can now so that it stays glued. You can even flip it over and give it a good rub. There we go. Now it's nice and flat. So it's a nice camouflage background. Next we will take our deer, and the deer head comes in 3 pieces, and I'm using early espresso for the antlers. You can use any colors that you like. I've seen different variations of this. And then I'm using the basic beige for his head, or for the inside, and pecan pie for the top. And all you do is glue the beige or the light color onto the antlers. And again, glue works nice because then you can work with it and make sure everything's all even. And just putting it over the top. And then this other weird looking layer, I can't see it best either way, you want to glue that to the top, over the top, and this is so cool. Whoever designed this did a wonderful job. And then you put this over the top, matching the ears. Again, you move it around to get it even. And when you have it perfectly lined up, this is so fun. The eyes, not sure if you can see them, the eyes look like they're looking at you. You can kind of see them a little bit, but they're like looking off to the side. It's just so cool the way that worked. Alright, enough fun. So if you have any edges that are sticking out, you can either trim them off or just leave them alone. Doesn't matter. This is the piece that came out of that die, and I did make this. I don't have them here. So the die itself, I want to just explain it so you don't get like, how'd you do that? The die itself it's just like this. So if I just put this on there, that's all it would cut, is the center part. This is just for embossing the, just gonna put this in here so I don't lose all my dies. Okay. Come on, get in there. Okay, so what I did is I took a piece of, so you can see this is all it would cut, is just this part. Here's the blade up here. But to get a circle around it, we have the deckled circle dies. So I would put this down, well, I put the paper down, this die, and then I have the deckled circle. There we go. I have the deckled circle that goes over the top, and then you run all of these through your machine. I hope that's explained well. I thought I'd just get the dies and show you. So these are the deckled layering, what are they called? Deckled circles. And you find one however wide you want the border. And this one is this size. So then you run it through your machine using both of these layers all at once. And that's how you get the whole, now you can see it better on here. That's how you get the whole circle and this image. Hope that makes better sense. Alright, get these out of here. Set those aside. Oops. Okay. Now we will assemble. So this is like underneath, I couldn't pick it up. This one, you can either attach your deer right away by sliding him in and just attaching a little bit, or you can like slide him in now. And again, I glued all of this just because it was easier, and you don't have to worry about the little prongs from the trees. And glue makes it so you can slide it if you need to. And plus you're on this rough surface. So then you just put that down. See, like if I had tape, that wouldn't have worked. And then we'll just put him in there, slide him in underneath, just a tiny bit. So it looks like he's popping out. I showed this to my son who's a hunter, and he's not one to comment. He's like, oh yeah, whatever. But he liked this one. Okay. Again, this is why you want to use the glue, because it's sort of bumpy. There we go. And then I took some leaves from the autumn leaves dies. You could use any leaves or don't at all. But I needed something up here, so I did put a little, as long as I had the daubers, I did put a little bit of Cajun craze on them. Give them pretty colors. Right now it's October, and the trees in my area are just beautiful. I'm in Wisconsin, and they're all these beautiful oranges and yellows, and didn't think they would happen that way this year, but they did. I'm just going to glue those on. I tried a bow. A bow was kind of not, I don't know, it didn't do anything for it. It looked kind of Christmassy, and I didn't want that. And then one more. Okay. You could do 4, but it's usually 3. And then I have some gems that are not feminine. These are the coffee latte, or no, adhesive back swirl dots. And you can use any one of these colors. And it just kind of centers that a little bit. Okay. And then for the sentiment, I took, it says hello there. And I took that from the Latte Love stamp set, and it says, hello there, let's catch up. So people are going to cringe when they hear that I did this, but I cut off the bottom part, let's catch up. And on photopolymer stamp, well, any of the stamps actually, if you cut them off, you can always put them back together to make one stamp, or you can have 2 stamps. It doesn't hurt them, and if you resell any of your stamps, you have to disclose that. But it gets what you want. I guess you could mask it and everything for those who don't want to do that, but that's what I did. So here is the finished card with the hello there. You could do a happy birthday. Any sentiment will do. So that's it for this card. I hope you enjoyed watching me make it, and I hope you can make one as well. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.